that I've still kept the dialogue with. I will give you guys my phone number and my email. You can contact me if you have questions or whatever. I literally want to give creativity out into the world. Now, you cannot hire this stuff out. All right, guys? That being said, you cannot hire this stuff out. There's no innovation department on earth that will be able to do what you do as a human being, okay? You need to embed creativity in every single thing that you do in order to be successful. It is not somebody else's job. It is not somebody else's department. It is not somebody else's responsibility. It is your responsibility to be innovative and to be creative. And I deeply, deeply believe with every fiber of being that I have, that I'm made up of, that the tools that I will share with you guys today will enable you, and it will rehash and re-spark that wonderful creativity that you can bring. Now, the other thing that we have to talk about is, why is this stuff so important here? Can we talk about finance or something else? Why does it have to be creativity and innovation? Well, creativity is, again, literally part of our DNA. There was a cave woman who lived about 65,000 years ago, and her name was Harriet. And what happened was, Harriet was being chased by a beast far larger, far stronger, far more powerful than us. And she was moments away from imminent death. Moments away. She'd been chased by this thing, and the thing had like huge claws, way more powerful than humans, way, faster and, better in almost every single conceivable way except one. That animal was unable to harness the power of creativity and innovation. That animal was only able to become stronger or bigger teeth, stuff like that, but it was unable to use its brain and its resources to get ahead. Now, that same brain and resources to get ahead that Harriet used that night she was attacked, it's the same resources and brain that we all have today. That's how incredible that is. So, moments from an imminent death. She's in a cave and it's flooding. It's a dark and stormy night, because it has to be, right? It's a dark and stormy night. It's the worst. And by the way, people lived to 19 back then. It's crazy. Like literally, you're a grandma at 19. It's nuts. So here we are, imminent death. This thing's like clawing at her. She's like, she's in her cave, and the floodwater rises, okay? And in the floodwater, there is a stick, which was nothing more than a walking stick, she used it to walk or hike or whatever. And then there was an arrowhead, kind of a berry picker with a sharp edge. And it was nothing but a berry picker, and it had a sharp edge, whatever, That night, Harriet put the stick and the berry picker together, okay? She put the berry picker on the edge, made a spear, and was able to save her life. She was the one who gave us innovation. She was the one who gave us creativity, and we all have that today. Now, when you publish a book with McGraw-Hill and you tell a story like that, what they do is they get highlighter. It's all digital now, but it's red. It looks like a C. It's like the page is bleeding, and it's just, they just read everything. And I get the manuscript back, and I think I'm a great writer, and there's chapters upon chapters of red. And I'm like, guys, why all the red? I don't understand. This is a really good story, blah, blah, blah. They're unverifiable, must verify, prove it, find the reference. So we did. We found a bunch of information that supported that story. And it supported the fact that human beings are still alive today simply because we're still creative. Excuse me. So, as children, we were all creative. It's literally a spark that's deep within us that enables us to become who we really are. So, what is very important to realize here is that we are born with an incredible ability to become amazing problem solvers, and then somewhere along the line, we just lose it, and we have to find it again. We have to rediscover it. Okay, so now we're going to get into the really, really fun stuff. So, little victories are a tool that you can use today, right? We all work in the procurement department of marketing, whether we run it or whether we're on the ground every day sort of doing the work. And we have to understand that the measuring stick of success needs to be redefined in order for us to be more successful. It can't be, did you end up drafting a contract to bring on this vendor? Great, success. It can't be measured that way. And we must start to measure our success in very, very small but sustainable increments, what I call little victories. When we are able to measure our success with little victories, what ends up happening is amazing creative potential. When you look at a few things that you do well in your day, you might find that you are very, very good at dealing with a problem in some legal paperwork. You might be incredibly good at dealing with that pesky vendor. You might be the person who can explain why we're spending this money on this particular vendor when nobody can give a conclusive ROI. Y'all, we're not in IT here. We're not buying software, right? It's easy. When you procure IT software, pretty easy. You just buy something, you get it loaded on computers. I got Salesforce. Here's the ROI. Here's everything done. Y'all are in a very, very different business. We're subjectively looking at who we're bringing in, and being able to define that in terms of little victories is incredibly important, because sometimes we're so busy, I'm guilty of it, of racing to the end instead of celebrating those little moments that will feature stories, that will feature decisions, that will feature literally the reason why we have decided to go in the direction that we've gone. And being able to celebrate those and recognize them, incredibly important. There was an ice cream salesman many years ago who wanted to sell a bunch of ice cream machines, and he was just like a volume person, right? Because the analytical mind and the creative mind are two totally separate hemispheres in our brain, and bridging them together is part of what we have to do.